We're still talking about the new Nigeria, Naija 2.0 unfolding. Now, it's interesting that we have to come to a point where we realize that the entire world, the whole globe, and all men on the surface of this planet have their destinies interwoven in a tapestry that sooner or later we will recognize was a deliberate construct of the mighty God, such that as Ubuntu in South Africa projects, whatever happens to one of us affects the rest of us. Now, we're going back to the Israeli-Hamas war, and we're talking about the fact that there are boots on ground right now, and the Israeli Defense Forces have efficiently and precisely been able to check and will shortly decimate the threat that the Hamas organization was proving to the sovereignty and the security, national security of Israel. Now, as you can imagine, the Hamas played the religious card, hoping that the Arab world will rally together with them in, a counterattack and to strengthen what they had started on the 7th of October, the year 2023. But the truth is this: in the war of narratives, the dastardly crimes they committed in slaughtering more than 1,400, kidnapping children, beheading people, even recording, the disembowelment of a fellow human being has backfired. And this is why you will realize that at a point in time, the Hamas decided to, intensify the war of narratives by talking about a hospital that has supposedly been bombed by the Israeli Defense Forces. The IDF was quick to respond clinically with swiftness and precision. They began to show evidence that it was actually the Hamas and their allies who had unleashed terror upon that hospital to bomb their own people. And I guess this to and fro in the war of narratives has brought us to a point where people are beginning to look at the Hamas side of the equation and wondering the kind of depravity, the depths of cruelty that will permit a people to kill its own citizens in the hope of tactical gain in warfare. In 1996, Samuel P. Huntington, this American political scientist, had written a thesis in which he said the future of global conflicts will be fueled more by cultural and religious fixations than anything else. You see, they knew that the Islamic civilization, the Arab world, would define themselves based on its Islamic civilization, and that they would resist the Western bid to influence the New World Order. That position was restated in 2014 and confirmed by Henry Kissinger. Kissinger's opinion was that political Islam, or Islamism, would become one of the four supremacist agenda that will be vying to define the New World Order of this post-Cold War era. Now, I think they're all wrong, because this is where African nations come in. We have been the fly on the wall. Look, we have been able to observe all the nation states of the world and all the cultural collectivities, the ethnic nations. We've seen them at their best and their worst through human history. So there's a contribution that we can make, and we're going to be making an offering of what the future should look like. Now, it's going to be a unique offering, and I can tell you something, that finally the prophecy of Stephen Biko will come to pass, where he has said that it will be Africa's turn to offer the world a dynamic that will give a more human face to governance, globally.
In the next installment of Naija 2.0, we will look at the solution algorithms needed to repair the national leadership fracture and the socio-spiritual conflicts between the bat and the dove that has birthed a political leader who is the embodiment of the corruption. In closing, it is said that everything rises and falls on leadership, but we must disagree. Rather, everything rises and falls with effective communication, just that most leaders know and exploit this truth. Unfortunately, money is the most effective communication in a rotten society, so we need both a national reformation as well as a revival. So says Reverend Laddie Peter Thompson, the Oracles. Please don't forget to register for the next issue of Naija 2.0 and share with all patriots, friends and foe. Please don't forget to register now and hit the share button.